Hey everyone, it's Ellis, and this is the patch 9.1 notes rundown. I have high hopes for this patch, and so let's just get right into it. Calista, base AD, 80 growth, attack speed growth increased, W Oathsworn 80 bonus removed, Q damage increased, E deals less damage to epic monsters. Base stats, she gets half a longsword now at level 1, but Calista still has the 0.9 AD thing, right, on auto attacks or something. Attack damage growth 3.6 to 4, so then she almost end. Okay, so attack speed growth 3.5 to 4%. Q pierce, base damage 10 to 250 scaling to 20 to 280 scaling. W sentinel, Oathsworn empowerment. Calista no longer gains 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 attack damage while her Oathsworn is nearby. Okay. And then E Rend now deals 50% damage to epic monsters. So that's actually problematic for, like, you know, smite confirms or objective secures on dragons and baron, but regardless, these changes don't really do all that much. I think that if Calista were to come back into the meta, it would more so be because other ADCs end up just getting so terrible that she's allowed to somehow come back. I don't think that she's actually necessarily in a very good position unless there's some sort of itemization change that is going on right now. Does it mean that she can't be picked? No, it doesn't mean that she can't be picked. She's probably like A- ADC right now, given the way that the ADC meta is. Okay, Ornn. Base durability increased. Ornn's item upgrades at level 13 to max. He can upgrade one ally's item per level at 14 plus. Oh, 14 plus. More upgrades added. Q cost damage, slow decrease. W shield, but makes W doesn't shield, but makes Ornn unstoppable. R slow knockup decrease. Base stats. Health growth, 90 to 95. Base health region 1.4 to 1.8. Health region growth 0.14 to 0.18. Armor growth 3 to 4. Base attack damage 67 to 69. Passive, Living Forge. Ornn now gains 10% additional armor and magic resist from items. At level 13, any upgraded item Ornn owns or purchases for the rest of the game is upgraded for free. Ornn can have up to 2 upgraded items. At each level from 14 onward, Ornn can upgrade one of his allies' upgradable items by getting within 600 range of them and clicking on them. Allies can only have one upgraded item. Removed. Purchase order. Ornn and his allies can no longer pay to upgrade their items. Ornn can upgrade new items. Bonus ones listed below. Frozen Fist, Yumu's Ghostblade, Might of the Ruined King. That's really strong. Luden's Pulse. This is potentially really strong. This one's not actually as strong, but okay, so this one's not as good. All right, Frozen Fist one's not that good, and the reason that the Frozen Fist one isn't that good is because the people that are going to be upgrading it, when you start getting to a 95 armor, 100 armor, you're talking like Frozen Heart type numbers and stuff. There's going to be a little bit of a redundancy on the armor gain at that point because you're already going to get extra armor items. So the extra 30 armor is really nice only for the first core item. And then everything after that's going to just start to be bad. The mana going up by 200 is nice, but it's not enough. It doesn't mean that you're not going to go Frozen Fist on Ornn, because you most likely do, just because he doesn't have other items. Yumu's Ghostblade is interesting, but you think about the champions inside of a game that are going to be in a team with Ornn present, and there's not really too many that is actually going to have Yumu's. And also not one that would be looking to have that be the primary upgraded item. Might of the Ruined King, though, is very powerful. Getting an extra 15 AD and 15% attack speed. There's a lot of ADCs that do go Blade of the Ruined King, and giving this sort of an upgrade to them might actually be worthwhile. Luden's Pulse, obviously that one's self-explanatory. Volcanic Rupture, 55 to 45 mana. So basically every 5 casts now you get a free one. Base damage 20 to 140 scaling to 20 to 120 scaling. So you don't max Q first, so it doesn't really matter because it's just going to still have the same damage rank at rank 1, or the same damage at rank 1. Slow 40 to 45, 40 to 60% scaling to 40% at all ranks. That's completely fine. You're not really using it for the utility of the slow. W, Bellows Breath, no longer shields Ornn for 80 to 260 plus 0.4 bonus armor, 0.4 bonus magic resist. I didn't even know that it factored those in, Coach, by the way. Unstoppable. Ornn is now unstoppable during W. Cooldown 14 seconds to 12 seconds. Duration 0.75 seconds, ticks every 0.15 seconds. Self-slow 50% to 35%. Brittle proc damage 7 to 12% of the target's maximum health. Level 1 to 18 to 12 to 20.5% of the target's maximum health. So Ornn is now actually dealing more damage with his W, but he no longer has the same sort of tankiness and durability that he once had up in the top lane. So I'm going to get to this in a second. E-Searing Charge, 50 mana to 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 mana. And this is actually quite nice that the mana cost is lowered right here, and also the mana cost on the Q is lowered as well. And the reason for that is because I think that Ornn is now a jungler. And alternatively, I mean, maybe there's an argument for Ornn becoming a support, but the problem is that supports do not level up that fast, whereas the junglers actually can level up and keep up with the laners for the majority of the game. So you still have the ability to actually make use of his passive. I do not think that he will be a top lane champion because I think with the changes to his Bellows Breath, there's some matchups that are just going to be near impossible for him to actually keep up with. And the way that the top lane meta is right now, I think it is not suited for him to go back up into the top lane. However, in a competitive environment or high MMR, where jungle is more controlled and definitely slower pace, Ornn definitely could potentially get by because his sustain inside of the jungle is absolutely bonkers, and one of the only problems that he actually does run into is the mana after his blue buff expires, if he's not kiting the camps correctly and making use of his W correctly and the talisman and whatnot. But I think that these changes actually cater to that type of problem that he ends up having. And then obviously Ornn ganks are self-explanatory from the jungle. It's absolutely disgusting to R someone from an entire screen away, and that is basically your gank. So his match ganks and his counter ganks are wonderful. So I think that Ornn is now a jungler. Sejuani. Base durability increase. Passive grants fewer stats but lasts longer. Q damage increase. W2 damage increase but slow falls off immediately. E deals more damage but range and stun decrease. Health growth 88 to 105. Okay. Base armor 31 to 34. Armor growth 3 to 4.25. Base magic resist 27.1 to 32.1. Magic resist growth 0.75 to 1.25. Attack. This isn't a nerf. Do you have hands? Stop, Twitch chat. All right, passive, Fury of the North. Frost armor, resistances. I mean, it's a nerf, but it doesn't matter. Okay, nice. Frost armor resistances, 20 to 120 armor, scaling to 20 armor and magic resist, plus 25% bonus armor and magic resist. Frost armor, linger 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Q Arctic Assault, 60 to 180 scaling to 80 to 240. Why are they giving Sejuani damage? Why are they giving her all these stats? Who thought this was healthy? Second hit base damage, 30 to 170, 30 to 190. Normalized to 0.25, okay. Permafrost, stun duration, 1 to 1.4 seconds, 1 second at all rank. Okay. I mean, this actually does, I guess, provide for a little bit more counterplay. But regardless, range 850 to 600, damage 20 to 80 to 40 to... What? What? What am I missing here? They just, like, completely overshot the buffs on this champion. That's great. That's actually fucking great. Oh, okay. That's actually really cool. All right, champions. I'm glad that Sejuani not a champion. All right. Ashe. E grants assists if enemies were previously unseen. Okay, that doesn't really matter that much. Jinx. W cast time now scales with attack speed. W zap. 0.6 seconds to 0.6 to 0.4 seconds based on attack speed. Caps at 250%, bonus attack speed, including bonus from switcheroo. Doesn't matter, you're still not going to be picked. Jace, QE combo can now be buffered. Great. Katarina, E-teleports, immediately, cast time now entirely, post-teleport, Hextech, Gunblades active, can be buffered. Alright, this doesn't make her a champion. Nasus, Q-stacks from large kills increased, so now he gets 12 per champion, large minion, or large monster kill. I originally thought that maybe this would, provide some sort of a merit for having Nasus be a jungler. I don't really know if that's going to be the case. The way that you can look at this is it adds into a little bit more damage for top lane Nasus. Nasus was actually well positioned in the meta a very long time ago, and if other champions continue to get hit in top lane, but like we already saw the Riot post about patch 9.2, if other top lane champs get hit, Nasus will basically be like a beat stick check, sort of like Syndra. Syndra in mid lane is a stat checker. She basically asks if everyone else in mid is fucking garbage, to the point where she can just come into the meta with her absolutely useless, just big stats and nothing else, and then be a relevant champion. Nasus is very similar in that regard, where if everything sucks, he sucks a little bit harder, but he's sucking you. And then he's giving you that face. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. But anyways, Sivir, champion hits don't reduce Q damage. Okay, buffering the Dream Q that hits all 5 enemy champions in a team fight. Okay. Vayne, Q cooldown reduced while R is active. Alright, R final hour. Tumble's cooldown is reduced by 50% while final hour is active. This is actually quite a sizable buff. So if tanks do actually end up becoming more prevalent inside of the meta, like if Poppy ends up becoming more popular, if Sejuani comes back into the meta, if more tanks end up getting buffed in 9.2 and stuff like that, maybe Vayne becomes a potentially good, viable alternative to other ADC picks. Xayah, E-root duration increased 1 second to 1.25 seconds. That's actually quite a noticeable and welcomed buff. Zyra, Q, W, and EW combos can now be buffered. So they're just, they're trying to, compensate for NA's ping and all this other stuff, I guess. Jungle items. Unenchanted jungle items reduce gold received from minions if their owner has too much minion gold. Wasn't this already here? I don't know. Runes, Hail of Blades, 75 to 125%, levels 1 to 18 to 110% at all levels. This is not good. You're not taking Hail of Blades thinking to yourself, oh man, I really got to get the most out of this item during the first few levels that I have it. No, you're taking it with the assumption that it comes online later on in the game, or it comes online around the mid-game, and you have a lot of power inside of it. I guess the 110% in that regard can maybe be good in very, very few instances, but overall this rune just needs to rework. Rune stats. Attack speed rune stat increased. 1% attack speed. Definitely welcome. Celerity. No one cares. Shield bash. 4 to 21, levels 1 to 18. 5 to 30, levels 1 to 18. Turret assists. Champions within 2,500 range who assisted in a turret takedown now also count tower local go distribution. Okay. Ability ping improvements. Galio R Hero's entrance. Nocturne. Oh, that's actually really cool. That's really, really cool. This is actually a really, really welcome change, or this is a welcome addition. Abilities with detailed information, okay. Ability icon HUD, okay. Bug fixes, upcoming skins. Was that actually the patch? What? Is 9.2 the big patch? The only competitive change that we got in this patch is Ornn and Sejuani. Sejuani is a bomb. I was talking to Riot Maple in DMs, I want to say, 3 or 4 weeks ago or something? And I was telling him how much I loved how Kindred was a bomb. And what I mean by a bomb is, so you don't need to buff a lot of champions. If you basically take one champion and you overtune it, and you give it too many stats, or you give it too many changes in a short period of time, and you throw it into the meta, it can shape the meta around it because of how it influences other champions that are in the meta and how it can answer, you know, maybe certain things that are very powerful at that time. So I like that Sejuani's a bomb in that regard. I think that she's overtuned inside of the patch. I think that the like, you see changes like this, and then you see changes like Aurelia -5 MS or like Graves -3 AD. And then you just wonder, like, what's going on? The other thing that I want to say about this is this potentially opens up actually viability for Sejuani support and also maybe even Sejuani top lane. Sejuani top lane comes to mind, and then obviously Sejuani jungle is going to be good. I think top and jungle actually look potentially good, but don't know. Maybe it's a triple flex. Ornn is now going to be a jungler. The Calista thing, I mean, it's okay, whatever. Ashe, Jinx, Jace, Katarina do not matter. Sivir doesn't matter. Vayne potentially matters, but not right now. It's sort of like when a new card game expansion comes out and a card is really good, but you have to wait for more cards to come out in the next expansion in order to make that card good that's going to synergize with it. The Xayah change is actually quite nice. Xayah is still an ADC that is definitely pickable. All the other stuff with like buffering doesn't really matter all that much. Halo Blades is a joke. Rune stat thing right here. This is good. Celerity's a joke. Shield Bash is a joke. Turret Assist doesn't really matter. It's just sort of novelty. Obviously, this stuff is definitely all welcome. And now to get to the skins. Yeah, I'm getting like a Yoshimitsu vibe or something. I'm not, I mean, all right. Blood Moon. Okay, Pike. The Sivir skin actually looks quite good. Looking for any Easter eggs. Not really finding any Easter eggs there. Okay, so this was badass. This was actually such a sick splash art. This is like getting, what is this? This is like going on Tinder and seeing their photo, and you think that you're getting with a 10, and then you meet them IRL, and they're like a 2. The amount of just Photoshop that they're using, because you see this skin in game, and it's nothing like this. Absolutely catastrophic. One of the worst trade deals anyone's ever made. You gave Riot your RP to get this, and then you go into the game, and I don't even know. It's like trying to buy like an iPhone or something in like an underground black market Chinese shop or something, right? It like doesn't work. You like turn it on and it says Sega and like Sonic starts playing. You're like, wait a minute, I just paid $1,000 for this. Like, well, I don't know what's going on there. The Prestige one looks really cool. I actually really like the direction that they're going with the Prestige skins. I think that they all look really cool, but again, same problem. At least this skin is actually a little bit more reasonable. This is just the biggest letdown in the history of letdowns. This would be if, Dragon Ball Z like hyped up Cell for like a year or something, and then you finally get Cell and it's like Cell stage 2. Like the kind of bulky Cell that looks like he's been eating too much McDonald's, and he has like those really big, thick lips. And it's just really, you're just like, can you please transform already? That's how I feel when I see this Aatrox. So I'm just throwing that out there, okay? All right, I mean Aatrox. And that's pretty much it. So that's it for this patch note rundown. Hope that you guys enjoyed it.